Thank you for joining us, my friends, for episode 14, a rare double feature. If we didn't want to get scared enough with A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay, we decided to also read We Used to Live Here by Marcus Cleaver. Both definitely made me question the reliability of our unstable narrators. What truly is real? Can the experience be profitable? How many realities are out there? Let's discuss.
All right, let's get started. Welcome in, everybody. My name's Jindred. This is my home on Twitch and on the internet, but once a month we do a little podcast where we get our monthly book club together from our Discord and talk about the books we read this month. This month we had a double feature, and I'm going to let Annie take over from here as Master of Ceremony.
Hi, welcome to episode 14. So we had a bit of I want to say discourse about what it means to be a scary book. So we have two books we're going to talk about today. One is A Head Full of Ghosts, and then the other one is We Used to Live Here. So, we're gonna start off. This was Aaron's pick, is A Head Full of Ghosts, and then my pick was the other one. But yeah, I don't want to say we fought about it, but we didn't not fight about it.
It was a ruckus.
It was a ruckus.
We talked about it. I don't think we fought about it.
We had a good discussion about what scary means to each of us. So I think in this episode we're going to find out what scary means to each of us. So A Head Full of Ghosts, we're going to start with. The lives of the Barretts, a normal suburban New England family, are torn apart when 14-year-old Marjorie begins to display signs of acute schizophrenia. To her parents' despair, the doctors are unable to stop Marjorie's descent into madness. As their stable home devolves into a house of horrors, they reluctantly turn to a local Catholic priest for help. Father Wanderley suggests an exorcism. He believes the vulnerable teenager is the victim of demonic possession. He also contacts a production company that is eager to document the Barrett's plight. With John, Marjorie's father, out of work for more than a year and the medical bills looming, the family agrees to be filmed and soon finds themselves the unwitting stars of the show is called The Possession, a hit reality television show. When events in the Barrett household explode into tragedy, the show and the shocking incidents it captures become the stuff of urban legend. 15 years later, a best-selling writer interviews Marjorie's younger sister, Mary, as she recalls those long-ago events that took place when she was just 8 years old. Long-buried secrets and painful memories that clash with what was broadcast on television begin to surface, and a mind-bending tale of psychological horror is unleashed, raising vexing questions about memory and reality, science and religion, and the very nature of evil. So I initially was nervous about this book because I don't like being scared. I don't like scary movies. It's not something that I seek out personally to get scared. So already I was a little bit on edge, but I actually enjoyed this book. And I know some people did not like the little as Mary tells the story and we learn that she's blogging about it. The language is kind of juvenile, but I do kind of like those little excerpts of her dissecting the show that she was on, which I thought was kind of strange, but a nice little break considering all the events that happen in the book. But Aaron, I thought you were the one who was I was scared of this book.
Correct.
All right. I'm going to jump in. I was also scared of this book, and I hated the blog parts. I was like, they threw me out so hard from I was in the moment, and then we get this blogging scene, and I'm and the whole terminology and everything. Yeah, I did not enjoy that part. The book did scare me. I did, and just so I guess viewers are on the same page. I am not a fan of horror. I do not like horror because it scares me, and I don't enjoy being scared in this particular form. To be honest, so was it scary? Yes. Would I say it's a good book? Yes. Would I recommend it to people? Only if you like to be scared. But again, not everybody gets scared by it. So, yeah.
So, what do you find scary?
Dude.
I really want to talk about that.
Okay. So, I found both books scary. I want to call that out. Okay. I thought in this book in particular, the younger sister's constant inner like turmoil of like, is my sister faking it or is this real? Right? Like, you know, like she didn't know. And so she sounded genuinely scared. And I listened to the audiobook of it. And I totally was like on the same page. I was like, what the fuck? When they put the house back in her bedroom, I was like, oh my God. And, you know, then the whole like the scene with the sheet and the blanket getting sucked into it. I was like, you know, like it got me. Like I was genuinely afraid for this little girl. And then the end was just,
Dude,
was
I
the end, but I'm not going to ruin it. Hold on.
No, I'm not asking.
I was going to say the end is the other kind of scary, which is very much reality scary. Supernatural scary and reality scary. So this book hit me on both sides.
But I want to leave the books out of it. Separate discussion.
Okay.
What is scary?
Okay, so for me, there's two kinds of scary, right? There's supernatural scary. I think like fear of the unknown, fear of, you know, like things that you can't explain. Like, I don't genuinely believe that Bigfoot or any of that exists. I don't. I don't
Yeah.
genuinely believe that ghosts exist. Like, I don't.
Okay.
But the idea of them is scary. And to me, like when I get caught up in the content that I consume, if I watch a sad anime, I cry to it. If I watch a funny anime, I laugh. If I watch something scary, I'm afraid. It doesn't matter that like that it's my brain, my rational brain knows it's not real. My emotional brain is still afraid as hell.
Okay. Annie?
I don't know. Like the stuff that I find scary are like the movies like Signs. The Thing.
Why?
I enjoy the suspense and like maybe I enjoy like the mystery of like Gendred was saying, like I know it's not real, but like the possibility that it could be. Like all the X-Files episodes and stuff where it's like I also feel like part of me is like I want to believe, you know?
Okay. But you said that both of you don't like to be scared. It's not something you seek out.
No. No.
So I get that you like Signs and that you like these type, but what do you not like? What scares you? Like, why do you not like horror stuff?
I don't like to be scared.
Right.
In
okay.
my mind,
I understand.
Okay. Sorry.
Is like blood and gore.
You don't like blood and gore.
Yeah, like
that's
that stuff
scary.
Freaks me out. That scares me.
Got it. Okay. Checks out. V8.
Nothing.
No, I won't say nothing. Books clearly don't bother me, though. I didn't find either of these books scary.
I want to talk about that.
What was my secondary question is horror in different mediums. But
so
are you a horror person?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't like if somebody wants to go see one, I won't be like, no, I can't. I won't do it. But I'm not going to it's not going to be my idea.
Okay.
But the things that mostly get me are like what Amy said, like excessive gore.
Yeah.
Especially like broken limbs.
Yeah.
That gets me.
But is that scary or is it just uncomfortable?
No, it just makes me super uncomfortable.
Yeah. Okay.
Not to the point where I would like freak out or anything. I would just like not look for a minute and then
Yeah.
go back to
Exactly.
watching again.
Right.
And especially with like broken bones, because I've broke multiple bones. It's like every time I see it
Yeah.
happen, I can feel it happening again.
Right. Right. Right.
Just so y'all
But-
know, I have some horror ambient sounds in the background for chat.
Great. Great.
Nice.
Set the mood. I know the ending of this book. How did you feel about the ending of this book, I guess?
Well, hold on. Why are you
Sorry.
rushing to the end of the book?
Because that's
Hold
my
on.
favorite. That's my favorite part.
Yeah. Let's get some foreplay, Annie. Are you familiar? Okay. So what I'm getting at is that I think that these are all extremely popular opinions. Gore, bones, guts, blood. I think if you are not disturbed by that, there's something a little bit wrong with you, right? And good or bad,
Probably.
I don't know. I'm not saying you need to go see somebody, but I'm saying that those
Maybe you
things
should.
they give you visceral reactions. However, are they scary or do they make you feel uncomfortable? I don't think so. And that's what I find so interesting about being scared and horror as a genre in all mediums is how the artist uses or attempts or crafts this way to make you feel scared, successful or not. It's extremely hard to answer that question of what makes me scared. What am I afraid of? One, we're adults. It's not spiders. It's not ghosts. It's not oogie boogies. It's not whatever, right? But
Pause.
as adults, we still.
Adults can be afraid of spiders. I'm gonna fucking say this right now. My wife will
Oh,
fucking
sorry.
punch you the fuck out if you're in a car with her and there's a spider on you.
Sure.
She's gonna get that spider.
Oh my god, dude.
And snakes. My dad would do the same thing until the day he died. He would flip out about a snake.
Yep. So keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt that much. Go ahead.
But you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a craft to telling an engaging story with character arcs and plot that keeps you invested. And then there's a whole other skill of getting under your skin and making you as an adult question things and look at things differently. So that's why I was asking that question. I have a very large passion for horror, and that's why. And I wanted to kind of offer up that as a preamble for our future discussions of these books. That's the beginning of my TED Talk.
Before we get too far away from it, because I didn't say anything about it yet, but I agree with Gendred that I made the comment a few weeks ago when I started this book that it was worse than a Goosebumps book.
Which,
being
okay, let
quite
me
harsh.
also point out this is what we're coloring today.
We love Goosebumps.
Yeah, I was being pretty harsh, but when I made that comment was the first time that we got interrupted with the blogger stuff, and that is the worst part of the book.
God, everybody hates that part. Okay.
I don't know anyone that speaks like that, and if I did, I would not speak to them anymore.
That's it exactly.
Okay,
Like her blog speak is different than her character for the rest of the book. So it's so jarringly different. It's annoying as hell.
Do we want to
It's
get
not
into
just-
it? Because I can
It's not just
explain
that.
it.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Also,
but is it her compartmentalizing some shit?
probably a little
I
bit,
don't
but
no, I don't think so, and I'll explain why if we want to get into it. But what were you going to say, Squandy?
I was going to get into it. I was going to give you my analysis, which is going to take a chunk of time.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, I just wanted to point out then, before we do that, that The thing that got me the most about the blogs was her constant need to say something and then immediately go strike that and say something else. You're writing a blog, just don't put it in the damn blog.
There's a delete button.
I get the feeling though, like I actually treated it not as a blog and more as a podcast recording. Like that's the way I took it because I was listening to it as an audiobook.
If that's the case, it aggravates me even more.
I agree. But go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just gonna give you my whole overview of the
The
book.
blog. Oh, okay.
The book, okay.
Well, I'm gonna have a hard like if you want to pick a part.
No.
I feel like we should go chronologically and not just point out certain
Yes.
parts of it because
Sure.
it kind of like flows in a certain way.
Yeah.
So, however you want to structure this,
Let's
I'm
start-
good.
Let's start at the
Dive
beginning.
in. Will you maybe pause sometimes to let us say something just in case?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't want to. I'm really bad, and I don't want to interrupt. You know. 'Cause
Bad?
I
I
don't
don't-
want to interrupt the flow.
Yeah, well that's what I'm saying too is I don't want to interrupt the flow and I don't want to talk too much. So you guys
Oh.
talk about it.
Okay. Oh. My favorite part was the ending, even though it was like pretty morbid, obviously. But I don't know. I'm trying to piece together like why did I enjoy it? But I think it's like, so you've seen The Mist, everybody, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nope.
And well,
I
The
know
movie
the concept of it.
ending-
I just never watched it.
yeah, the ending. That's also like, I liked both of this book's ending because it kind of reminded me of the big twist at the end of The Mist, where like, oh no, I have to murder everybody because help is not on the way, and then the mist clears, and like 30 seconds later, after he murders everybody, help arrives, and it's like, oh shit, I didn't have to kill everybody. We all could have survived. I don't know why I enjoy an ending like that, and then an ending like this one where it was like Mary got tricked, or did she, into murdering her family. Well, it wasn't even murder, it was like accidental, but
It was murder.
It was
still-
murder.
Yeah, she still murdered them.
It was homicide, but she
Yeah.
didn't. Okay. Take.
I don't
want to
talk about the end.
Okay. then let's start at the beginning. Like I said, start at the beginning. We jumped right to the end again. Beginning.
I just love the ending piece. Yeah.
Okay.
So you start, and then I'll try not to interrupt, but go.
What do we want to talk about
Aaron.
from the beginning? Yeah. It's
Oh, me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I feel like the first thing that I want to point out is what the majority of my PowerPoint is about, which is its similarity to House of Leaves. Now, this is going to be a huge trust me bro situation because I'm the only one who's read it. So you're just going to have to take my word for it. But I encourage you all to. What's really fascinating is that both of these books have insane structural, thematic themes or thematic similarities to House of Leaves. So House of Leaves has. I'm just going to pull up my PowerPoint. I don't have to show it because I know it's going to fuck everything up, but it's going to help me. So in House of Leaves, you have multiple narratives. You have a book that is written by this man named Zampano. And it is a book about a documentary or a found footage film called The Navidson Record. If you remember, there's two characters, one in each book, called Navidson, both references to House of Leaves. And so then you have Zampano's book about the Navidson Record. Then you have the publisher who's reading the Navidson record and giving annotations. So you have large annotations at the bottom of the page of the Navidson record. Then you have Zampano dying, and this kid who lives down the hall from him named Johnny Truant finding the manuscript with the editor notes and reading through them and annotating the annotations. And so you've got multiple narratives, and this is copied in both books. And in this book, you have one adult Mary telling the story of this documentary and her experience and of her sister's trauma to the journalist. You have Mary's firsthand account of the experience. You have the documentary, and then you have the blogs that go through debunking, quote unquote, the documentary. The premise is set up to give you the ultimate unreliable narrator setup, which is a huge theme to postmodern books, which is a huge thing with House of Leaves. Johnny Truant is an unreliable narrator, and it throws the whole thing cattywampus. Mary is also
There
an
goes the
extremely
channel.
unreliable
Lex Lager
narrator.
just rated
I'm going to
with
pause
15
because you just
odd
got
ones.
rated.
Hey,
There, mister.
welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in, Lex.
There, mister.
Lex
Wow.
Lager rated my stream with 15 viewers.
Holy moly. Hi, folks. Welcome in. We're doing our monthly book
There,
club.
mister.
Hi there, everybody. Welcome in, everybody.
Hey, partner.
Hey, Carp. Hale. What's going on, y'all? How was your stream? What's going on, Lex? Oh, good lord. Let's do another shout out for Lex real quick. All right. He was playing Silent Hill 2. Perfect timing.
Spooky.
We're all about the spookies right now. Yeah, welcome in, everybody. We were just getting into Head Full of Ghosts this month. Got attacked by a whole bunch of leg monsters. Yeah, that sounds frightening. I'm glad to hear it, man. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, we're doing a double feature tonight. Head Full of Ghosts and We Used to Live Here. 2 scary books. This is the first book we're going over, Head Full of Ghosts. Folks, welcome in. Please hang out if you want to hear about these scary books. Obviously, if you want to read them yourself, you might not want to hang out because we're going to go through them in detail. But
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alerts all the way through. Yeah, nice to catch you too, man. I didn't see you were on. I was so busy setting up all the new overlays and everything for our spoopy stream here. Oh man, how was your stream? So did you have good time playing Silent Hill 2? And also, thanks everybody for coming in. Thank you for coming along in that raid. Just a quick moment. My name's Gendrid. I'm a variety streamer. I typically do this once a month where we have our book club from my Discord, Discord, podcast. So you can check both of those out. As the man said, hard to manage both. Absolutely. It's a great remake. Awesome, dude. Glad to hear it. There's the podcast. Yep. And we welcome folks to join us for the book club every month. We try to bring in a guest host with us, somebody who wants to read along and talk about the books with us. You're all welcome to check it out. Food now, then bed. It's that time of the evening. I appreciate you so much. Please take care of yourself. Get some rest. Hope you have a great week. And I appreciate you for the Luke. And everybody else, if you came along for the raid, thank you. I appreciate you coming along with the raid. But if you need to go use the bathroom, go get a snack, go hug and love on your loved ones. If you are super spoopy scared by Lexus Gaming, please do what you got to do. We'll be here for a while if you want to come back. All right. Squandy, the floor is back to you.
There, mister.
Unreliable narrator.
Mary.
Mary is the Johnny Truant of this book, unreliable narrator. She is identifying as a unreliable narrator from the get-go, from the onset of with the journalist. She says, I might not remember stuff. I was only 8. She then straight up admits to a lie downstairs in the basement with Marjorie. And the beginning, what I find most interesting about this book is that it is not a is she possessed or is she not? It is a I don't know how to talk about this. I don't know how to talk about this. I like the beginning because I like the uneasiness of Mary being uncomfortable with Marjorie and Marjorie getting in this uncanny valley area of, yes, I recognize this sister. Mary loves Marjorie. And I feel like he gets in the head of an 8-year-old so perfectly and sympathizes with the way that she looks up to her older sister, and her older sister acting in these subtly strange ways. She's not being overtly creepy, but to us it is. But we're reading it through the eyes of an 8-year-old who's trying to make sense of it, and it adds this extra piece of sadness because you want to tell Mary, like, no, this is wrong, like she's being weird, but she doesn't take it as that. She wants to see good. And upon that, Marjorie is also like, don't worry, I'm faking all this at some point, right? So like she doesn't know. And those are the parts that really, where I was reading it at the beginning, I'm like, I love this book. It is so tense, is when Marjorie was just a little bit weird, just a little bit weird. And I absolutely love that part.
Yeah,
I think the part that scares me is the not knowing. Like, I know Marjorie's not possessed, you know, but to what extent is she faking it, and to what extent is it real? You know?
I don't know that. I had no idea whether or not she was possessed or whether or not she was just trying to keep her sister calm by saying she was faking it. Like, that wasn't clear. And I think,
Well, that's a good point too. Like,
you know,
was
like
it? It was all. I guess was it all in an effort to exercise control over Mary and see how far Mary would go?
No.
No, I don't think so. I honestly believe, you know, having gotten through the whole book, I believe that she loved her sister, but she also needed to use her sister towards her own ends, and that's what we see when she scares the shit out of Mary, like over and over.
You're saying Marjorie loves Mary,
Yes,
but she needed to scare Mary
to sell.
to
To sell that she was
sell.
possessed by ghosts. Like she needed. Nobody
What end, though?
nobody would have reacted the same way Mary did, right? Everybody else is like, you know, the dad's off his rock or whatever. Mom's having a nervous breakdown from her daughter having psychological problems. Mary doesn't. Her dad believes that it's, you know, obviously supernatural. Her mom is solidly in the, this is psychological, and why the fuck aren't we taking our daughter to psychologists when we're supposed to? Mary doesn't know. So Mary is legitimately scared. Her parents are scared, but in a parental way.
Right.
Mary's scared in a childish way, and that, like, we see through the book that as, like, sort of they develop into the reality TV show part of it, that Mary's perspective plays a huge role in informing the crew of, like, the direction of things. Like they try to, like, plan things around, but ultimately Mary's vision of things is what comes through.
What do you mean? Like,
so
on the TV show?
Yeah. So there, so ultimately, what we hear in the beginning is that, you know, her sister's faking it, and she's doing so to some end. We don't know what end. And then when the TV show comes around, oh, she's faking it so that they can have a TV show to make money. Well,
Well, go ahead.
if it was just a daughter and her parents, that's one thing, right? But like adults are supposed to like deal with this. Adults are supposed to deal with their children's problems, supernatural or not, or whatever the heck you want to talk about it. But Mary's trapped in this situation. She doesn't have anything she can do. She's stuck here. She loves her sister. She doesn't know if she's really faking it. Even though that's what her sister told her, she's genuinely scared of it. She's genuinely scared of the
Agreed.
situation and her sister. And that comes
Yes.
through. Right? And
Comes through the writing.
yes. And I
Yes.
didn't obviously see the TV show or anything, but I think that's what, like when she's talking to, she has her own video camera and that whole like scene with the house and everything in the blanket. And then she shares it with the crew the next day. That guy's like, holy shit. Like, he can actually see what Mary sees at that point. And he's like, you can tell in the writing, he's shaken by it. Like whether or not it's real or not, he knows this is scary, right? And to an adult being scared next to a little girl being scared, like both of those tell you different sides of it. Little girls are scared of lots of
but
things.
I think the point of that is that they're not. They are like, that's really strange. I don't think that they're viscerally scared of it. I think exactly probably the opposite. They think that this is going to shoot up the ratings of the show. And so that's why I was wondering what you were saying when like what Mary sees becomes like she has a huge sway on what happens on the show.
I think she has a huge impact on the show.
But she doesn't, because she's always complaining that they keep exacerbating the show. They keep doing things that make the show more extravagant, more horrifying than what it is. Like when she gives him the tape of what she saw, they go like, oh yeah, that's great. We can use that. And then they cut it up and they put music behind it and they make it more scary,
right?
Which is what I think the point of the book is. We'll get to that later, but yeah.
So to me,
I want to hear from V8.
Reading is like, as the reader, getting it from Mary's perspective, I was scared. Like I was scared while reading it. Like I was like, holy shit.
God, yeah.
Like this is frightening. Like why didn't you get this little girl out of this situation and send her to family or something? Like this whole thing should not have like gone how it did.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead.
The parents are objectively horrible people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we haven't heard from V8 yet, and I'm interested.
Oh, I don't have a lot, which is why I haven't tried to speak up.
Okay.
I don't know. So, a lot of this book, just spent the majority of the book, like, kind of putting myself in her shoes at the same time, because a lot of the things that were bothering her about her sister are things I worry about with my kid. And I go through a lot of this stuff as a parent pretty regularly with my oldest. So for me, I think that's part of why I didn't find this book scary. It just felt like a day that I've already had to experience, just not to that extreme. And so for me, like at one point, I actually forgot that, like, until she kicked in with the blogger thing, I forgot that they were talking about a TV show. Thought she was just telling the story again. Like, it just kind of all blended together for me back and forth. And it all just kind of got lost, honestly. Which I think may be part of why I didn't find this book very scary at all. Because I just struggled to even keep up with it, because I'm like, the whole time thinking about what I would do in that situation and not really paying attention to what the story that's being told is more I don't know.
Question.
I don't really have a better way to describe it.
Question about V8. When you did this via audiobook, right?
Yes,
And did you listen to it during work?
I did.
You got through like the whole thing probably in a day, right?
2. I intentionally stopped partway through so I could think about it.
Okay.
But yes, I could have done it all in one day because I work 12-hour shifts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Like I also listened to this whole book in like a day. Like, and I got it through one sitting. And
Yeah, I could have done that. I chose not to because I wanted to give myself time to at least make an attempt to think about it and see if there was something I could pull from it. And it just didn't really stick very well.
For me, it's actually a little bit of the opposite because I didn't want to dawdle. I wanted to get through it because I don't enjoy horror, so I just wanted to get through it.
And if I had found the book scary, I feel like I would have been the same way. But the fact that it wasn't bothering me, I was just didn't feel the need to rush through it. I was just like, okay, let's get to the point of what are you trying to tell me right now? Because so far, I think I'd rather be watching the actual TV show than listening to you describe the TV show.
That's fair.
Yes. So I legitimately think that is the point. I don't know when I should just say it, but so yeah, so the beginning parts are eerie to me because of the terror felt from the eyes of an 8-year-old seeing her idol, her hero, this person that she looks up to so much, just start to be a little strange and start to invade her space in weird ways and make her feel uncomfortable. It's so weird to be in the eyes of an uncomfortable 8-year-old, like trying to cope with these weird situations. Meanwhile, her parents, like I said, objectively bad people. Like they just make the wrong decision left and right. And then there are these exaggerated horror scenes that are straight up ripped from the book movie The Exorcist. Like the bed self-pleasuring scene with all the bodily fluids and stuff. Those are over the top, grotesque horror scenes that
was the
are
only part of the
written.
book that bothered me.
Sure, they're written very well, but to me, not what makes this book scary. Those are the types of things that I expect, and I think that he expects for you to expect from a movie or from a book like this. But by golly, they were very, very well written. And I think that's one thing I want to just sweeping declaration on this is Paul Tremblay is an amazing author. I think his dialogue is so realistic. His descriptions are so perfect in that, like, I really appreciate when a description is 3/4 of the way there so that my brain can finish, right? And it makes it feel more tangible. It makes it feel more like I have agency in building the world. I hate when descriptions are spelled out for me 100% of the way, but giving me some of the ability to fill in these gaps are so much more horrifying. And so I just think he's a phenomenal writer.
I agree with that. I feel like the book was well written. I just didn't resonate with me, is all. I don't feel like it was a badly written book or anything.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's what I said at the beginning.
So-
Like, if you like horror books, I would definitely recommend it. Like, I don't like horror books, so I don't want to read it.
Yeah, well, and my earlier comment I made about it, about the Goosebumps thing, that was just me being overly critical on purpose. It was not. It's much more of a well-written book than a Goosebumps. Well, those aren't badly written either. They're just for children.
But I understand what you're saying about hyperbole
Yeah,
and all that. Yeah, definitely.
but I also want to say that I don't think that the parents are necessarily awful people. Because
Okay.
they don't know what the hell they're doing. They're trying to figure it out as they go too. And they obviously, I mean, they're not great, but they don't go. They clearly lack communication skills with each other, and that causes a major problem in the book.
Yep.
And that's, I think, their biggest fault is that they're both trying to solve this problem a different way, and neither of them are involving the child. They're just dragging her to what they think the better solution is.
On that, I disagree.
don't know. Yeah, same.
On that, I disagree. I think the mom was in the right. She was trying to do the right thing. And the father, the moment he was involved, he railroaded it and took his daughter to the church instead of the psychologist appointment he was supposed to. Like, the mother was very clear, here's what we need to be doing. This is what's going on. We need to keep the doctor informed. And the dad's like,
you have
nope.
a science-based parent versus a non-science-based parent.
Well, the dad
Right.
wasn't even like very religious until this happened, right? Like,
No, he was before. He was before, and then he stopped for her. And then because of all this, he's
Oh.
like, "No, I'm going back." And she was like, "Oh, brother,"
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
she knew that
She
he
married-
was.
Yeah, she married somebody who was all into the church, and yeah.
It's a great example of religion breaking a family and a situation that would, because there are little nuggets of sympathy for the dad, because she has been going to the psychiatrist for a while, and it is not helping. In fact, in many respects, it's getting worse. So I understand his, what the fuck are we going to do? We are in horrible debt because we're paying for these medical bills, trying to fix this. It's getting worse. So it's a that's what I mean is I don't think that they are good people, but they are interesting characters. I'm along for the ride to see their marriage train wreck, two, how their decisions impact his family, the relatability to these hard decisions that you have to make, and like doing a reality show to sell your daughter's trauma in order to pay for medical bills is crazy.
Try to
And
fix the trauma.
Yeah, that is terrible parenting. That part.
100%. But then you also have stuff like Mary being in the car with the mom and going like, I can tell mom is stressed out because she's smoking a cigarette and she's not blowing the smoke out the window like she normally does. So like, number one, she smokes around her kids. Number two, she's blowing it into the car as opposed to out the window like she normally does. Like, they're just all around. And keep in mind, this isn't the 70s. This isn't the 80s. This is like the 2000s. Right? Like, this isn't a time where like smoking in the car with your children was like socially acceptable. So like, there are many different hints at the parents being
Is
absent.
it the 2000s?
Yeah, because she has a cell phone and she talks about going on the dark web and all that stuff.
Okay,
The
I couldn't
internet.
remember. I couldn't remember when the like present day of the book was
Present
versus
day
when
is
the,
like-
when the show was.
The present day is like 2015, 2016.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was totally I could tell when it was by the mention of river monsters because I remember watching that show.
yeah.
Exactly. Me too. Me too. I just think the characters are so wonderful. There's those little pieces of Bigfoot and river monsters and Mary, and like, it's just these little pieces of character that they just blossom in my head of like, I know who Mary is. I know who Marjorie is. Like, I am so intimately familiar with them in 290 pages is crazy. The dinner table scene where it really starts to hint at possession, because it's, again, straight out of The Exorcist. Like, it's pulled from that to give you the idea that, like, she may or may not be possessed, which is like this huge canary in the coal mine thing. And it's that, she throws up on the plate and all that stuff, and it's all gross and weird. But
they analyzed the voices when she was speaking in different voices and stuff, and they were like,
Yeah.
that isn't one person, that is two separate people speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
which
was
is
like,
totally Exorcist. Like,
Yeah.
all these things are purposefully pulled from the Exorcist book and movie.
All that told me was that it was unfortunate that she didn't survive longer. She would have been a good voice actor.
She had a really good career for herself.
Yeah. Yep. So
So was it all an act?
no.
Was she possessed?
Okay. So I think that the thesis of this book could be boiled down to when older Mary is talking to the journalist, and she says, she asks a question to Rachel, the journalist. She says, "What does that say about you or anyone else that my sister's nationally televised psychotic break and descent into schizophrenia wasn't horrific enough?" I believe that that is the point of the book, illustrated by the TV show. So you've got the exorcism scene, right, where Marjorie gets up out of the bed and opens the drawer, and there's something in the drawer that's making it open and close. They are making things up, editing the show in a way to take this already horrific, nasty, traumatic situation more. It's not enough. This wouldn't be enough for normal audiences. So so at the beginning, Mary says, "There's a bunch of voices in my head. I have a head full of ghosts," right? But I think that the reason that the show needs to make things more dramatic, the reason that Mary is trying to tell this story again as Karen online, as a completely different person, is because it has carried this enigma along with it. It has this aura where people are like, is that real? Is it not? That's bullshit. Oh, that's bullshit. Meanwhile, she knows that something was wrong with her sister, and people don't, it's not good enough for them. It's not scary enough for them. So by it, which is funny because it's like, it's not finding this book scary is kind of the point, right? Because we have the head full of ghosts. This is what I love about this book. We have the head full of ghosts. Everybody does. That makes these real situations not scary enough, because we see these movies, we read these books, we watch these TV shows, we play these video games. We have the head full of ghosts. The dad had a head full of ghosts, and that's why he was like, I need to go to the church. It is this theme around overselling real traumatic horror. This is not about is she possessed or is she not? Is she mentally ill or is she not? This is just a story about the crumbling of a family because they all have heads full of ghosts. And so do we at the end of the book when we're reading it.
Mind blown. But it does make sense. I guess. Like, the point of the book isn't to determine if Marjorie was crazy or if she was possessed by a demon.
I mean, it's fun to talk about.
Yeah.
It's purposely ambiguous, but
I wanted that to be the point.
It's I think it's so much. It's so beautiful that it's not. I think that's easy peasy. Who hasn't read that? Was she possessed or not? Was she sick or not? Like, old hat. That is fun to talk about. But the fact that there is more hidden under the surface of this that's not in the text but in the subtext is like next level shit. Next level shit. But then you have theories like let's say we could go along the storyline that she is possessed, that Marjorie is possessed. There is a strong argument to Marjorie not being possessed, but Mary being possessed. If you remember at the beginning of the book, she is the one who notices that their staircase goes 6 stairs flight, or 6 stairs landing, 5 stairs landing, 6 stairs. One away from 666. Okay? There is her going down after her family dies to see the shrine or whatever that her dad built.
That
There is no
never
shrine.
existed. Yeah.
Right? And Marjorie or Mary's breath can be seen in the exorcism room before Father Wanderley's, even though he's closer to the window. And she's the only one who can see her breath at the end of the book when she's leaving the coffee shop, even though it's freezing cold outside.
Was it Mary?
So is Mary possessed? There's also a good theory that the dad was possessed at the beginning, and then it hopped to Marjorie, and then it hopped to Mary. But none of that, it's fun to talk about, and it's purposely ambiguous, but the ultimate thing is that because of the unreliable narrator, we do not know who bought the cyanide. We do not know who did it. The evidence says that the dad had no search history, no credit card history, no nothing. You have Marjorie talking about Tor web browsers and the dark web and all that. So did she buy it? Did the dad buy it? Was the dad crazy and wanted to kill everybody? Just like all those stories that Mary had that Marjorie had that told Mary, specifically one about a dad poisoning their family. And the beautiful story, the beautiful like bookend of I don't like spaghetti sauce, and that being just a little bit of a character flaw, or not a character flaw, but a piece of character at the beginning, and that coming into play at the very end of putting the cyanide in the spaghetti sauce. She knows that her sister does not like spaghetti sauce. She tricks her into doing that. Or does she? She could be lying. Maybe she did it. Maybe she was so tired of her family being crazy that she just wanted it all to be over. Maybe she killed them. She obviously has a mental illness, and this is my argument for the blog chapters, is that I believe that it's very, very clear that after she accidentally murdered or purposely murdered her entire family and went through that whole traumatic experience that was filmed, is has a break. She has had a psychotic break. Something has broken inside her, and she cannot cope. So she uses this blog as another person to cope with that and to look at it through someone else's eyes, but also why does she continue to make lies about it? Because there are parts of the blog that continue lies that we know are because of Mary's firsthand account. The Karen blogs are unreliable too. But it's very clear that she's doing that and she's being someone completely different. If you look at Mary's older character and that Karen character, they are two spectrums of personality. Reserved, quiet, not really humorous, and then over the top obnoxious. She's clearly trying to be someone else, someone that she wants to be, more lively, but she has all these books about possession and all this stuff. She obsesses over it because she can't process it. It's too hard to process, and that's how she's chose to do that. And yes, they are obnoxious, but that's why. Because she's trying to be someone else. She's trying to overly compensate for this trauma.
And that's a whole nother book diving into Mary. Maybe that's why I liked the blog part too, is because it was such an extreme Karen, her alter ego, is such an extreme change from the Mary we've gotten to know in the book.
Right.
So is she crazy? Maybe.
She absolutely is. I don't think that there's an argument that she's not. Why else would she make up this character to go over something that is so traumatic? It is one of the most traumatic things anyone could ever go through. Yet she relives it in a blog. The only way to do that is to dissociate as this other person who is so drastically, obnoxiously different.
And then in the end, isn't it she sold the book, or she sold the
blog
to publishers or something? So she's now
to
not
Fangoria.
only as a child did her family monotonize on the publicity, but now as an adult, as she's trying to cope with these actions, she's it's the circle. She now sells this for money.
Exactly. She sells her trauma. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Beautiful.
Full circle.
Beautiful, dude. I'm telling you.
Wild. This book is fucked up.
Speak. Speak, Gendred.
I've said
You're shaking your head.
The book is very fucked up. I don't want to read any more horror. I'm done. Not my cup of tea.
We can move on to the next one.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do that, I think we should take a break for a minute because it wants to do ads anyway.
Oh, good idea.
That'll be
Well, do you agree with my analysis? Is no one going to combat me?
What's there to combat?
You just... Oh, I don't know.
I agree with that last theory, that I think both of them are schizophrenic, her and her sister. I don't think anybody was possessed. I think they both have mental issues, and her sister going through all that in front of her, and then when everybody died, that was the trigger that broke her as well.
Yeah,
Something
I think the dad was fucked up, and he passed it along to, and it started rearing its head in the teens, and so this trauma fucked up Mary. Marjorie was already going through something, but the dad was already fucked up as well. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much more to discuss on it, really. That makes sense.
Yeah, the only other thing I would say is that the book ends, I did not see the hook coming at the end, and
oh my god, me neither.
I was definitely not prepared for that.
I was devastated. My jaw was on the floor. I was like, no way that she's gonna do that.
Yep. and now
And
like
just
we're sort of
oh.
left like this.
And
She leaves her
they
life in
make
the
it so
balance.
it's like
yeah.
she's staring, like Marjorie is staring directly into Mary's eyes as she's like eating the sauced pasta.
Oh.
Like,
And she's got spaghetti sauce is a huge theme. There's spaghetti sauce in multiple occasions where she has spaghetti sauce all over her face. She has spaghetti sauce. It's all over her lips at the end when she's looking at her. Like it comes up multiple times, and it's something about the spaghetti sauce. I don't know, but oh yeah, dude. When it was spaghetti and she's putting in the sauce, and then she's like, "I know you don't like sauce on your noodles." I'm like, "She doesn't. I remember she doesn't like sauce on the noodles." Oh my god.
I'm staring at her while you're
Don't
eating
do
it.
this. Yeah. Oh my god.
I was
But, like-
surprised that she was still around at that point because I thought when she took the dive off the banister,
That she would be
was
dead.
gonna
Yeah,
be
me too.
Same.
Really? I did not think she would die from that.
I was like, she's
That's not
so
that long
killing
of a
herself
fall.
right now in front of her.
You
She went
can
ahead
you can
first.
die from a 5-foot fall. Okay.
I mean, not the way she fell. She fell feet first.
No, she fell head first. She
She-
dove over.
No, she
That's how
was
she broke her ankle. She landed
yeah,
on
she
her
fell on
foot.
her feet. That's how it pauses in her head, and on the show, the last shot of the show is her like monkey framed jumping off. She like mantled over it. She didn't go head first.
Well, see,
Well, in my head, she did like a swan dive.
yeah,
and
same.
No.
Because the way they
She
phrased
did
it
not.
was like she had the rail and like she sort of like threw herself over it. Like I didn't picture the monkey feet. I missed that part.
Yeah, no, it's very she talks about the last frame of the show as her like frozen like this, and she breaks her ankle. Yeah, so yeah, I never thought she was dead, but it's
She
very
got con-
interesting.
I thought she landed on her head too because she got a concussion as well as the broken ankle. So.
Yeah.
I mean, of course you're gonna bonk your head, whatever, but yeah, I mean she could have died, I guess. Just didn't read it that way. It's interesting.
Maybe it's like I wanted her to die.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
a
well, I mean,
long-
yeah. So did
It
Mary.
wasn't a long thing when like it's what like 2 sentences later when
Yeah.
she's back in it again. So when it wasn't like a thing where she's gone for like 20 minutes worth of the book or something. It's
Ugh.
like as she was describing it, I was like, oh well, now we're gonna find out, I guess, whether there was a demon controlling her or not because she's dead.
I'm just telling you, this book is in my top 10 favorite books of all time. This book is gorgeous, beautiful, absolutely stunning. So well written, poetic. It's got so many good little things. The spaghetti sauce, the theme of being not being scary enough, and the theories that you could make out of it, the way that he wrote the 8-year-old, is just the selling of the book and the TV show and how it mirrors itself is just like, oh, man,
Chef's kiss.
absolutely. Just, I could talk about it for a year.
All right, do you want to take a quick break before we jump to the next book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Let's go do that.
No.
Shut up, Squanty. You've been outvoted.
I'm taking a break whether we take a break or not. I gotta go to the bathroom.
What's our classic ginger saying? Bio break.
Bio break.
Yeah, I'm gonna shit all over the bathroom, and so you're gonna need biological hazard bags to clean up my mess.
Oh
Good
boy.
grief.
Oh my god.
That's what it makes me think of.
It's the real horror tonight.
Bio breaks.
Jesus Christ, Squanty.
Sorry.
All right, I'll be back in a second.
Just say you're gonna go take a shit. At least I know it'll be in the bowl.
You don't think I would
Bio
shit
break.
anywhere else, do you?
When you say bio break, I feel like you're gonna get biological specimens all over the bathroom.
I'm going to take care of my biological needs. That's what it means.
Okay, take a shit.
You're the only one who like blows it way out of proportion.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay, fine.
Do whatever you want in the bathroom.
You gonna go, play around in there? What
You're gonna go bio all over the place?
bio means
if-
I'm taking care of
no,
my biological needs. It means I can go get some water. I can go use the bathroom. Like it's biology. It's not. I'm gonna go put on a hazard suit and shit in the world. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Biohazards.
In the suit?
Yeah, apparently.
You can drink water and shit. I'm just gonna let you guys know, I have probably twice as much to say about We Used to Live Here.
Oh, Jesus
So-
Christ.
Feel free to tell me to shut up. I'm not gonna talk though. I'm gonna wait to be called on.
I don't... Well, I'll wait. I'll wait.
Really hated that no one combated me. I didn't want to go on a long diatribe and then end.
I'm sorry.
You want us to fight you?
Are you? Doesn't look like you're sorry.
I'm not really, but I am sorry that you didn't get the experience you wanted after your long diatribe.
Was my long diatribe off-putting?
No.
It made me think more about the book.
It didn't change my opinion about the book.
Helps if I talk into my microphone and not into the air.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back onto the book that I enjoyed.
I
Okay.
need to... Both of these books is making me think like I have to read House of Leaves now.
Then
I want to.
Squandy has hit his goal.
I gotta read it. But this is also a book, or it is a book that I want to physically have in front
Oh,
of me.
good news. That's your only option. There's no audiobook for it, which is why we didn't do it on the podcast.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be weird if it was audio? Because there's so much stuff in it.
Probably.
It's not because there's so much stuff in it. It's because of how it's written.
The layers.
No, like there's pages where it's just a word going diagonal and then one word, like there's a window and there's words around the window and then there's words in the window on the next page. It just
It's like a
there's no
very
way to translate it.
interactive.
Yeah.
All right. You used to live here.
We used to live here.
Who wants to get us started?
Which was my choice. Because at the time we were deciding how scary Head Full of Ghosts was, so we read a second one. So this one is We Used to Live Here. As a young queer couple who flips houses, Charlie and Eve can't believe the killer deal they've just gotten on an old house in a picturesque neighborhood. As they're working in the house one day, there's a knock at the door. A man stands there with his family, claiming to have lived there years before and asking if it would be alright if he showed his kids around. People pleaser to a fault, Eve lets them in. As soon as the strangers enter their home, uncanny and inexplicable things start happening, including the family's youngest child going missing and a ghostly presence materializing in the basement. Even more weird, the family can't seem to take the hint that their visit should be over, and when Charlie suddenly vanishes, Eve slowly loses her grip on reality. Something is terribly wrong with the house and with the visiting family. Or is Eve just imagining things? This whole book reminded me of the game Control, which, like, I've never played, but I've watched a lot of playthroughs, and it goes into that, like, I want to believe in this supernatural, spooky, unexplainable things, but I want them to be explained. So I kind of enjoyed that aspect of it. And then I also like learned a few things with like the references to House of Leaves, and then there's something to do with the name Faust and like German lore and things like that. So I really enjoyed this one as well. But I don't know if it leaves more questions than answers, which I think is very typical of a lot of horror books or mystery books, suspense thrillers. But I I kept getting really annoyed because the family would never leave,
Oh my
and I
God,
just
right?
wanted Eve. I wanted it was what I mean, like the entire book they pretty much never leave, and I'm just like, Eve, like put your foot down and get them out of here, because 5 minutes turns into what, like 2 days. Ugh. So that was pissing me off so much. I don't even know where to begin without like I don't why am I saying spoilers? Because I mean it's a book review, so I liked the Faust theory, which was also kind of like a very Dorian Gray kind of thing happening, because the family that comes in, what's his name? Thomas, the
Yep.
dad. The dad is the one that is like our main focus of like, there's something off with this guy. Why does he want to come in the house? It all kind of made sense. Jenny, his daughter, the actions, her first actions when I got to the end of the book made sense to me, because I think Thomas was trying to trap Eve somewhere, but he has trapped Jenny as well. And so when the family first comes into the house, Jenny calls Eve by the wrong name and immediately plays hide and seek and goes into that space in the basement. But I think she thinks that that's how she will get home into her reality. I don't Aaron, tell me anything. Or what did you think? Did you even like this one?
I did not.
Why?
Um, I thought the writing was very bland and kind of did that thing where it over explained everything, and um, there wasn't that like little bit left for me to do, and I was having trouble pinpointing my problem with the writing until I found out that it was a creepypasta on Reddit, and that totally locked it in for me because it totally reads like a creepypasta. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's a certain type of writing that feels very um, hollow, and where Head Full of Ghosts has the is she isn't she kind of thing, there is subtext there, and this book was all text. It's all on the page, and it's weird in kind of I don't know. I guess I didn't hate it, but I certainly um, finished it and was like, I probably won't ever think of this book again. It didn't really do it for me. and especially because it really tried to be House of Leaves. So the parts where there's like excerpts with annotations, it was kind of like,
Like the
okay.
dots at the end of each chapter. And the
Also,
Morse code.
so it was fun to do the Morse code and type it in to see what it said, but why? There's no reason for it to be Morse code. Like Morse code never comes up again. It's I was like, please have something. The man in the cabin like has a like he does Morse code or like some why? It's just there to be a goofy little mystery, and like there's just no. It was a fun little story that I will forget in a month, because it's all on the page for me personally.
Yeah, the Morse code thing, I think, was just they felt like they wanted to add an ARG to the book.
I liked a bunch, like, yeah, the Morse code is probably unnecessary, and it just essentially tells us, like, the man who is in the cabin, like, that's Thomas. That's a different reality is Thomas, who's trapped here in whatever reality we're in. I guess another thing that I didn't like was when we met Heather, the neighbor. Like, that was, like, one chapter we meet her, or maybe it's, like, two. And then she's here and then she's gone. So I don't know what her purpose was.
To
Because
fill
the
us in
stuff
on
that,
Thomas's backstory.
and she knows Allison as Alina. So there's like Allison, who is the sister, but then there's also Emma, who is the sister. And then Alina, and then Eve. But Emma just pops in one of the chapters where Jenny's like, Aunt Emma, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? We've never been introduced to Emma. We know Allison is the one who went crazy, but
Pause.
really,
Pause. Jenny called her Emma very early on.
in the beginning.
Yeah, that's where Emma comes from.
But then so Emma just to me, she just appears because when Eve goes down to the basement one of the times and is looking at all of these pictures, it's just Dad, Mom, and Allison.
Right. And then Thomas.
Thomas, I thought he was never in any of them, or was
Correct.
he in
any of the happy photos that she recalled. But Eve is Emma. That's the only thing. As I didn't take it there was any other Emma. It was just when the family said, "Oh, you're Thomas's sister, Emma," and she's like, "No, I'm not." Like she was very.
I'm Eve.
Yeah.
So was there an Eve and Charlie even?
We don't know.
Who is damn it, who is Eve? I liked we learn how the old man gets his scar when Eve hits him in the face with a hammer. And then there's always those little, like, towards the end, Thomas, he makes me believe that he is in control because he's like drops off the necklace for her and then actually calls her Eve at one point when he leaves the hospital, and he's like, "Goodbye, Eve." And she's like, "The fuck? Like, my reality isn't crumbling. This is real. These things are happening. I'm not in my reality anymore." I liked the documents of the police interrogation of the boys when they went down to the basement, and then the SWAT team went through and they were like, "No, it doesn't exist." and then all of a sudden like the tape doesn't exist either, so then I'm like, oh, that's
Which
another House
is-
of Leaves thing.
It's just House of Leaves, yeah, but like
Yeah.
worse.
Maybe I enjoyed it because I haven't read House of Leaves, and then if I read House of Leaves, I'll be like, wow, this story.
I wonder, because I can't go through that. I don't know. I wonder if that is the case, that I would have enjoyed it, but that stuff in particular, though, I didn't mind the docs. I thought it was interesting that both books had these intermediary chapters with the blogs and the docs, and there's like multiple stories being told.
Mhm.
So yeah. What are you looking at?
I'm trying to remember something about the book.
Oh,
I have a lot of notes on the book, and I think it's just like I like the mystery and maybe the possibility of alternate realities. I
Mhm.
don't like that she and Allison like essentially are trying to be gaslit into like thinking their reality doesn't exist, because like that is traumatizing. And it's just wild. It's an interesting concept, but I do think like it's done a lot. But I don't know. I really enjoyed it, but Aaron, I know, did not.
Was this turned into a Netflix thing already, or is that going to happen?
They're going to,
It's gonna happen. It's not yet.
which I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it because they really destroyed Three Body Problem. So
Yeah.
whatever. But
I think. Yeah. I agree. I think it'll probably be terrible. This
Destroyed
book.
again?
Okay, so I guess what I was trying to figure out how to say is that like this book. So the other book scared me on like a. Like, is this supernatural? Is it not? Like the very vagueness of the unreliable narrator, and then like the very traumatizing hook at the end. That book scared me. This book scares me in a like fear of the unknown. Like, is this what Alzheimer's is like? Kind of thing. Like, is Eve insane and like is her brain just making up shit? Did she really hit her brother with a hammer? Or is this some supernatural thing of where there's actually a dude trapped in this house and like he traumatizes the owners and traps them in some other foreign world of his design? Like, I don't fucking know. It's just, I didn't enjoy it because it was just like, it felt like just like one jump scare to the next one. And it was like, started off with annoying family, moved into Eve goes, to the neighbor's house and finds out that, the very traumatizing story about the girl they brought in, and then goes back towards the house, gets lost, finds this other house and these crazy maps and shit. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, it felt like left turn, left turn, left turn. Like, it just,
nothing was ever really concluded, and they just kept throwing things at you
Yeah.
to confuse.
yeah.
Which I don't know. I kind of, yeah. I guess I want to know. I want to know more about what's on the walls of the cabin.
Yeah.
I want to know. I just want to know more. I want to know more, and this book didn't give me more. I want more.
And I it definitely, the scary part to me was when Eve and Charlie went to the hotel and Eve receives a phone call from Charlie saying she's still trapped in the house. At that point, my hair was on, like, standing up. I was like, oh fuck, what is going on? Like,
That was the best part of the book.
yeah, that was scary. And like that was my Like if I was to like a scary part of the book, that's it right there. Because it's like, is the house trying to trap her to come back? Or does it already have Charlie and she's with some weird other thing? Like it was so, yeah.
So another thing, like the last chapter is us essentially hearing from Charlie, questioning where Eve is, and like, is it a police report? I forgot, I wrote it down.
Yeah. My partner's gone missing, blah, blah, blah. Like, and that was like,
And
what?
then it's like she arrived at the house, and the house is abandoned.
Yep.
And then everyone states that her partner never existed.
Yep. Which makes me think that she was with the real Eve at the hotel, but the house tricked her into coming back and trapped her. Like, and I've got goosebumps right now just thinking about that, because that's like, oh shit.
I'm always like, when was the swap? And then how many Charlies are there? Because when they went back and Charlie was like, I just have to grab a few things if we're going to not come back to our house overnight. Like, let me just go
There was one Charlie.
pack some stuff. So like,
The Charlie out. I don't think I think she left with the real Charlie. Yeah.
Because I was thinking too that at the beginning of the book where Charlie isn't there, when the Charlie that left and came back with a necklace, like, was that even her Charlie? Or while Charlie was out, like, something happened and now it's a different Charlie?
No, it's possibly there's probably a million theories about which way it goes.
It's impossible to know.
Yeah, and that's part of the
There's
scary of it.
There's at least two, because one has a tattoo and one doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, is that the house fucking with her head though, making her misremember things? We don't know. Like that's the whole thing. Is like the whole. I think from the very first like part when Thomas Faust and the family rolls up and walks into the house, at that point all bets are off.
I'm also wondering too, so like during the whole book we see the haunting, sickly Allison in the hospital robes, kind of like chasing Eve around, essentially playing hide and seek with Eve.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's that part where Eve/Emma is getting hauled away by the police, and she sees Allison, but
On
it's
the
a
edge of the woods.
healthier-
Yeah.
What was that about?
I don't know.
I'm like, what? So like,
To make you
It's-
question.
See, at that point,
Yeah.
we don't know is she trapped in Thomas Faust's world, that's within like the basement of the house or whatever. We don't know. Like everything is questionable. That's why I said, like, from the moment Thomas Faust walks into the house, everything's questionable, because the daughter opens the dumbwaiter and gets down to the basement, but then like a little while later, the spot where the dumbwaiter was is all closed up and like it was never opened. Like the shit is already off the rails. Like, to me, that's the whole supernatural scary thing, which, like, I think, you know what? Netflix might be able to actually do this one. I think, honestly, Three Body Problem was too complex. I don't think that anybody could have easily pulled that off. And I think Netflix wasn't the right choice to do it anyways, but I think they could probably do this.
The stained glass changing.
Yeah, it changing, moving, different rooms, not there anymore. Like, yeah, phone's broke. Kid's got the phone. Kid has his own phone. Like, there was just weird shit the whole time. I know I scare easily, and this book scared me. I'll say that. Like, I definitely, by the end, I was just done. But like right there in the middle at the hotel room, I was like, scared.
And she's like, "Don't come back.
Yeah.
Run. Don't
yeah.
ever come back to the house again."
Yeah.
So what did Charlie see? Like,
Well, hold
The woman
on.
with the
Where-
hammer that beat her to death.
Hold on.
yeah.
This is the house calling, saying it's Charlie.
Well, no, she sees Charlie there. Are you saying the house
In the
made her
basement?
imagine that?
Yeah, I'm saying that's all the house. I'm
That
saying
made her
Charlie.
imagine Charlie.
I'm saying
the-
Yeah, like all these ants crawled up and into her mouth. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that
yeah.
wasn't real Charlie. No, come on. I'm saying Charlie was at the hotel and the house called her and made her think Charlie was still at the house. She went back. She willingly went back.
The ants thing in the beginning, like when they first get brought up,
Yeah.
bothered me.
I didn't really care about that part.
Yeah, no, I don't mean bothered me like it freaked me out or anything like that. It bothered me in that she was describing ants walking in a line and all this and how weird it was. I'm like, that's what ants do. Have you never seen ants? They follow each other because they're following a pheromone trail. Do you not know how bugs work?
then
Anybody who's ever had
you
an
read
ant
the
problem, like they're everywhere. They are everywhere. I had that problem at my house in Georgia. We've fought ants for years. They just show up in places.
And them walking in lines to places is totally like
Normal.
that's natural. That's how they behave. So her making it seem like that's something out of the ordinary just made me be like, do you not understand how insects act? Because this is totally normal.
Yeah,
She is crazy.
yep.
Aaron, what are your thoughts?
Yes.
Go off, King.
Um.
I'm ready.
So regarding what you guys are talking about with it being the house or not, or being another Charlie, is one of the problems that I had with it, with the mystery in general, is it kind of has the problem of Star Wars and the Force, is that you can introduce anything and go like, it's the Force. The
Yeah.
Force did
Oh,
that. And you can say, oh, this weird thing, it happened because of the house. It's the
It's the
house.
house.
And
Yep.
it's like,
Yep.
whatever. And so it takes away a lot of the stakes, is that something weird could happen and you could always just go like, nope, it's the house. Because there's just not enough information about anything to make any sort of rational explanation of it. It's really just there to make you scratch your head and ask questions and talk about it, which is fun, but there's nothing else of substance. It's just there to be mysterious and creepy, and that's it. And the fact that you could even say, I think it would be more interesting if they did what House of Leaves did and give it an unreliable narrator. But the mysteries can all be explained by the house because you have a objectively reliable narrator. Even though she's crazy, she has no, I mean, maybe or may not, she has no motive to be lying. She's not telling someone this story. This is a story written by the voice of the author, as opposed to like House of Leaves and A Head Full of Ghosts, where you have the voice of a character who is unreliable. And so you can go, oh, did that actually happen? Did that not happen? And it's worth discussing. It sounds derogatory, but with this, I think it's interesting to think about who the man in the cabin was, and Faust being the devil, and Thomas and the guy in the cabin. It's like, oh, mysterious, mysterious, mysterious. But that's what I mean by like, I like creepypastas, but are they like deep, well-written things? Like, usually not. Usually they are early things by authors who can sometimes go on to create really good things. And it's not that they're bad, but they are early writings of an author, and therefore I don't necessarily want to read a book. I think that this guy has a good idea. I think he sat down and said, we used to live here. Couple shows up and wants to visit the house. where does it go from there? It's like a writing prompt, right? And he took it in a certain way, but I feel like at the end he was just kind of throwing stuff at a wall. And the fact that you need a sequel or a prequel to have 80% of it make sense is pretty telling.
I feel like part of this felt like he took the IKEA SCP and was like trying to throw it into the story somewhere, but couldn't figure out how to make it work. With the
Well, that
basement.
was the other book we read, Horror Store.
Store.
Yeah,
I didn't read that.
yeah, we
I wasn't here for that one.
read that book. Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, this reminded me of that in the writing style, where it was just very bland, and it just didn't. It's one of those things that's hard to put your finger on. I'm not an author, but it's something that you can feel. It's something that I feel when I'm writing something. Like, there is something about Dune where it's just enrapturing. There's just something about the way he puts words in a certain order that's just like, fuck yes. And that's how I felt about Head Full of Ghosts, where it just like, some of these things are just like, it hits. And I never got that with this. Every part of it was like, and then they went through this house, and then there was a spooky thing, and then she went out. And it's like, we got to be a little more creative here, Marcus. Like, let's think outside the box. Let's use some literary techniques. Let's but it's not, that's not what it's for. That's not what he was trying to do. He's trying to make a creepypasta. He's trying to expand on his creepypasta. And that's what it is. I just, and by that nature, I just didn't find it as engaging. I didn't find it scary. I didn't find it creepy. I found it very derivative. And maybe that's because I read House of Leaves, and this is like trying to be House of Leaves' little brother. But I don't know, because I have never read this without having read House of Leaves. So.
I think I like the concepts of a lot of this stuff, and like the docs and things, and like the, like I said, with the police report that didn't exist, like that's a cool concept to me to think about. So I think
That's from House of Leaves. Like, it's just, it's all the cool stuff from this book is from House of Leaves. Like,
and maybe
I hate to tell you.
This book for me is like, I like all of these different concepts coming into play, and like
Yeah.
the docs, like with when they were talking about like the biology of some of the plant life that grows around the house, and the ants that have mysteriously appeared from Africa that aren't native to the Pacific Northwest. Like, maybe I think I like that more than the actual chapters of the book, but I enjoyed the docs, which are still like creepy but cool. I don't know.
I think it's an amazing writing prompt, and Marcus did what he did with it. But yeah, you either find it fun or not. I don't know. I think the thing that popped in my head was that We Used to Live Here was like a child's amusement ride where you sit in a cart, you put the strap down, and then you go through this thing, and you go like, oh, look at that, oh, that's spooky, oh, and then you just kind of go, and then you're at the end, and you're like, that ending was pretty weird. That didn't really make any sense, but interesting. Where Head Full of Ghosts was like more of a roller coaster, of more of like, I'm going to go on this huge dip, and then it just felt a little more active. And there's things that are exciting in this book, but that's the best allegory I can say, is I just felt like I was in this ride going in like a S turn, and kind of just looking at the things that he presented to me. So that's just how I experienced it.
Well, as I said within 5 minutes of starting this book, I enjoyed the book at the end, but within 5 minutes of starting this book, when they first showed up at the house, I was like, and the book would have ended here. I would have closed the door in their face and be like, all right, get the fuck out of here. You don't live here anymore now. So you're welcome to leave. Get off my property.
Definitely, which I think is like the default. But I think that's one thing that he did really well was make you understand why Eve let them in. Because the default answer for everybody is no thanks. But she has this character flaw of anxiety. And the Mo thing, God, I hated the Mo thing. So stupid. And but she has this social anxiety, and it, at least I felt like, yeah, of course, fucking get out of my house. There's no way. But from her point of view, like, okay, I get why you left it open. Like, you're an idiot, but I get why you did it.
Don't run up the
I
stairs.
thought
no.
he did that. Right.
Yeah, this is very clearly a horror movie character here doing the stupid thing. Let's run into the barn full of chainsaws. That's a good place to hide.
Right. But you do have the benefit of it being a book and being able to be in their head. That's one thing that horror movies don't get to do, is they do those stupid things and with no rationale. And I like that there's at least an attempt to give Eve rationale for her absurd actions.
Yeah, I found it really easy to identify with that once he started describing that, because that is exactly how my mother was when I was growing up. She would do anything to please everybody else because that's just how she is. And so her being like that I wasn't like, I can't believe anybody would be like that. Who could be that dumb? I didn't think that. I just thought personally, I'd have been like, I'd have slammed the door in your face and been gone. But the fact that she did it, I wasn't like, nobody would ever do that. Because I could see my mom would have thought about it, but she would have done what Eve claimed she was going to do, and she would have called my dad instead of saying she was going to and then lying about it. She would have actually done it, and he'd been like, hell no.
Yeah, that's the challenge of the writing prompt, right? You get, okay, a couple shows up at a house, says they used to live here, and how do you make that make sense? And he tried.
Yeah. I don't think this was an amazing book, but I did enjoy this book more than the other book.
Damn, that's crazy.
Amazing how different people enjoy different things.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it is the entire time that we were going through this book, I was trying to think of ways to turn this into a video game because it sounds like a fun thing to play through.
Yeah.
Control, just play Control, kind of.
Actually, there's this Doom mod called My House, and it's very similar. You should play it. It's free and it's fucking awesome.
But I want to create it. I don't want to play somebody's mod.
It's fine. Go create it. Go ahead.
I'm gonna. Someday.
Someday.
Eventually.
Whatever. Liar.
I'll forget. Right.
Whatever.
I didn't already start a game document. What are you talking about?
I definitely think this one left more questions than answers. The other one was a bit more concise. A lot of things can be explained. This one, he leans on just, like you said, like it's the Force, it's the House. Just accept it.
Is she or isn't she?
Yep.
Is she crazy or is she in a multi-dimensional devil house? And that's it. Which is fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I don't enjoy the fact that it was left unanswered though. That part's not fun. I'd
We
like an
leave
answer.
her in the mental hospital, not quite sure.
Well, yeah, that part is like, where is Eve? Because according to Charlie posting on the internet, eventually,
where's Charlie?
Where's my partner? My partner doesn't exist anymore. Like, That ending bit kind of, so for me, I'll say I liked the other books scared me more, and for scary books, I feel like that definitely worked. Especially the ending was very too real, I would say. I could see that being real life. This one leaves me with, okay, some bullshit creepypasta internet thing. Like, there was scary parts in it, but I'll forget this book for sure.
The concepts will stay with me, but yeah, I think it's a cool. Then, like, now I know I'm just gonna like thoroughly enjoy House of Leaves if my favorite part of this book were the docks. So that's
I
something.
feel like I don't need to read
look
House
forward
of Leaves now. It sounds like I've already read it vicariously through other books.
My God, man, no shot.
No shot.
No. You haven't read it till you read it. It's an experience. Everybody should experience it.
False. Don't like scary
Unless
books.
you're
I only
scared.
read these ones because they were for the book club. If we don't put House of Leaves in the book club, I'm not reading it.
I'll veto Leviathan Awakes. No, I'm just kidding. I won't. I won't. do
Everybody can
that.
veto a book.
Well, I guess that wraps it up for those two. Which is good. Both scary in their own ways. Learned what we all find scary.
I'm
For
still
the most
confused.
part.
I think I'm scared of everything.
I think Gendred is scared of everything.
I want to say sometimes, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be scared, but sometimes, like, I like watching signs.
I don't think you're a scaredy cat. I think you just.
See, I don't
Not
find,
you.
I don't
You
find
are.
signs scary.
You are.
That's the only thing.
Sure.
Like, that one I didn't find scary.
There's a scary part. The
Yeah.
the famous jump scare.
Oh yeah, the jump
But
scare. Yes. Yes.
I don't think it's a horror movie. I think it's like a sci-fi.
It's an M. Night Shyamalan
with a
sci-fi
jump
movie.
scare.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
With
don't
the
think
worst twist on the planet.
I think
Twist.
like
Shut up.
Unbreakable is not
It
really a
is.
horror movie.
Unbreakable is definitely not a horror
Hey.
movie.
We have
Yeah,
aliens
right?
that are allergic to water. Let's go to a planet that's 80% water. That sounds like a good idea.
But it has scary parts.
Agreed.
You
The
know?
jump scare was
Can you see the
definitely
alien
scary.
on the roof?
But like the
Yeah,
whole
it's
like,
famous for a reason. Yeah.
but like up until that point, it was like, okay.
It's just it's just a fun little sci-fi
Yeah.
movie.
Did I dislike it? No. I just didn't
No,
think
it's
it was,
fine.
Yeah. Definitely,
Yeah.
that went through the M.
Like,
Night Shyamalan phase.
What is a movie that
too.
scares you, Aaron?
Good call. What's a movie that scares me? Hereditary. Oh God. the original Dario Argento Suspiria. A handful of stuff. The thing is I don't know. I think people. I don't know. I definitely think you guys would think Hereditary is scary, but some stuff that I think is scary, like the Blackcoat's Daughter or Longlegs, are not really like outwardly scary. It's more of like I like terror. I like not being jump scares are so stupid. I'm not here to go through a fucking haunted house. Like, of course I'm gonna be scared when you turn up the volume on me out of nowhere. Like, duh. That's so cheap and stupid. I like feeling like I'm questioning my life or my reality or the people around me or my decisions. And
Did you find Barbarian scary?
no, Barbarian is fun.
I like when
It's
jump scares
jump scary.
I like when jump scares don't work. There's one in what was that movie? Darkness Falls, where a cat jumps onto, you're like expecting the ghost to show back up, and then a cat jumps onto a taxi, like the hood of a taxi, and it's like supposed to be jump scare, and everybody in the theater just started laughing. But it was very clearly supposed to be a jump scare. I think I don't know. I think books just don't scare me, which is unfortunate.
I also just like as a PS read Pet Cemetery in the middle of all these books. Holy shit. That book is so fucking good. I don't Stephen King. He's not like the most eloquent writer at all, but God, he knows how to do that thing where it gets under your skin. Like just as a concept, a Pet Cemetery is so not scary. Like, oh no, I put my pets in, they come back alive. Jesus fucking Christ. That book is so scary.
So we should have read Pet Cemetery.
No.
My God.
No.
It's I mean, I've read it twice
No.
now, but like literally the last page, the epilogue of the book is just one page, the last page of the book. One of the scariest things I've ever read.
I mean, I read The Stand, and The Stand wasn't scary, but like it
Oh,
was
that's
just
not scary. Yeah.
very fucking long. 1,400 pages. Christ.
Yeah.
You're just scared of commitment.
That's like
Right.
Dude, I took like a year off of reading. I read The Stand and I was like, all right, I'm done reading for a very long time.
That's how I felt after it. It is also like a behemoth.
All right.
Oh, I was reading, like I went down some Reddit threads for We Used to Live Here because I was just like,
Oh wow, you
enthralled with
went down
docs.
the Reddit rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, I was like, I need to know more about these docs, and then alternate reality and whatever bullshit. And I was like, oh, the real nightmare was them never leaving your house. Like that's the scary part.
Fucking uninvited guests who won't
Invite-
just fucking leave.
Who don't take the hint and stay overnight. Bullshit. Get out of my house.
Sorry, go freeze to death. I don't care. Goodbye.
I literally don't care. Yeah, this is my house now. You don't live here. I don't care how scary my basement is. I just won't go down there.
Problem solved.
I will nail the door shut. No one will ever go in there again.
Ever.
Perfect. Exactly. There we go.
But it's the house, so it wouldn't matter. Still fucking freak her out or whatever. I don't know.
It'll unboard the door while you're asleep.
Leave it open,
the house.
unlocked. Yep. All right. Let's wrap it
Well,
up.
Yes. Thanks for joining us in our scary Halloweeny themed meeting
weenie.
this month. Halloween. Next month, Gendrid picked Leviathan Wake.
It's just
so
called
we'll
the
be- Yeah, is it The Expanse?
It's the Expanse.
So if you've seen The Expanse, read the
Join
book, I
us.
guess. Join us. Yeah, do you have anything else to say, G, about Leviathan Wakes?
Nope. I saw it in a bookstore. The title it looked like a cool book. I read a little bit of the back. I was like, I put it on a list. My wife bought it for me. And I was like, well, I guess I have to read it now.
I love it. Dude.
And so now we're going to read it.
That's how I found Head Full of Ghosts, and it's in my top 10 favorite of all time. So
Nice.
read books that you've never heard of before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
It's funny, like I've heard of The Expanse, but like I didn't even pick up on that when I picked up the book. I was like, oh cool. This is like
Yeah.
cool space opera. I'm in.
I'm
Yeah.
curious how much of it is going to be ruined because I watched The Expanse.
I
Hopefully
tried,
it's not.
but I never got like super into it, so I'm kind of hoping that maybe I'll get super into the book.
It has a fierce cult following. Like there is a small but strong amount of people that say it's like the best sci-fi thing. So I'm excited.
Very excited. We're going to be back November 20th, which is obviously a Wednesday. May or may not have a guest yet. I'm trying to get Andrew back. We'll see. But if there's anybody else who wants to join in the stream and discussion, just join the Discord. And you can join us for November's meeting.
Yep.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
Don't be weird.
No, be weird.
Don't be
Have-
weird.
Be
Where
weird.
did
Have
that come
fun.
from?
Read books. Join us. All right.
Move to
Thanks,
port.
everybody. Move to Portland, Maine, or Oregon. Either one. Both works.
They're all weird.
They're all weird. Yeah. And maybe come hang out with us on Saturday in the Discord when Squandy plays a scary game for us. All right. Love y'all. Bye.
This particular meeting was very interesting. We all have very different definitions of scary. I thought both books ended well and on kind of cliffhangers. The audiobook for We Used to Live Here added to the spooky ambience with the Morse code message, which was fun, but the book left a bit too many loose ends. The docs at the end of each chapter were my favorite. If you're into more psychological reads, then these are for you. Join us next time for Leviathan Wakes by James S. A. Corey.